So this is a kind of fun question. Have you tested if ice cream melts, evaporates, boils, etc. on a volcano? I have not. Turns out a lot of the volcanoes that I go to happen to be in warm tropical places, and the only one where I've seen active lava flowing was in Hawaii. It's kind of a hike to get there, so bringing ice cream was not quite an option. However, there are places like in Iceland, it's erupting right now. There are places where lava interacts with snow and ice. I guess you could bring your own ice cream, BYOI. But this is actually really interesting. We've always kind of wondered, like what happens when lava interacts with ice? So it turns out that there's a group of scientists at Syracuse University that create a lava-like substance. They literally melt rocks to create lava, and they poured it on ice just for your viewing pleasures. Pouring lava, lava like pushed down the street, and you can see that as it hits the ice, bubbling up. Really rocky little bubbles there. Definitely Google that if you want to see the whole video. I'm not gonna lie, that's not what I was expecting. So that's pretty wild. But the snow, as the lava flows over the snow, it instantly turns to steam because it's like we just learned, it's like 1300 degrees Fahrenheit or more. Turns to steam, and that steam rises and bubbles up and creates that bubbling lava. So pretty interesting. All right, so another question. Why don't we use lava to get rid of trash? Nice question. It seems like a good idea, right? We could just get rid of that, take care of our trash problem that we all know we have. Maybe it just like goes away forever. Turns out it may not be a great idea. Somebody tried this, so take a look at this. This is actually a group of scientists in Ethiopia, at Ale volcano, and they actually threw a giant chunk of trash into this lava lake. Now, the lava lake had a crust on it. It was cool on the top. But when the lava or when the trash hit that crust, broke it open, it allowed for gases to seep in and gases to seep out. And it disrupted everything. And you can see that it starts out slow, but it creates this chain reaction that caused, a ton of all these gases and things like sulfur dioxide, carbon dioxide, arsenic, all that kind of stuff. So, first of all, throwing trash into a volcano could cause, problems with the volcano itself, let alone the fact that getting to one of the few volcanoes on Earth, there's only like 3 or 4 at any given time that have an active lava lake. Getting to one of those in Antarctica, Africa, that would be extremely difficult. Um, Plus, it would actually use up a lot of greenhouse gases to ship all the trash there. Plus, it's dangerous. It's just not a good idea. And on top of that, it's still all of the gaseous, molten trash. All those gases are still going to get released in the atmosphere, which will be harmful to humans and can release gases. So let's just skip the volcano incinerator. All right, so let's see. So we had these questions from the other class. It was, what are the favorite and my least favorite parts of the job? So for sure, my favorite part is doing field work. So you get to hike around. I literally get paid to hike around during the summer and collect rocks, which I would be doing anyways. You get to hike around, incredible views. Now the hiking's not that much fun. There's never trails anywhere because it turns out not everyone's trying to get to those rocks that I'm trying to get to. And it's sketch, sometimes there's rattlesnakes and stuff. Um, you get some really gnarly tan lines. Take a look at that. That was from wearing boots all summer. And as you can see, it's always a ton of hard work. I mean, we're just working hard the whole time. I would say probably my least favorite part is a big part of being a scientist in general, and including in my field, is you have to publish your work. You have to write up all your results, and you have to publish it in journals. And there's a lot of pressure there. And to be honest, I don't really like writing that much. I do it, but it's just hard to get motivated. I like the field work. I like the data. It's just hard for me to write sometimes. So I'd say that's probably my least favorite. So a question about physical training that you have to have or need for your job. My particular research that I do requires field work because I want to do field work. So you have to be able to hike for long periods of time where it's hot, carry a bunch of rocks in your backpack, that kind of thing. But not all geologists are like that. In fact, other people that study volcanoes literally never leave their office. So I have several friends that they're in the lab and the stuff they do is super cool. So that being said, you don't have to be super physically fit. And you could do any geology regardless of your physical fitness or regardless of your training. And if you're in a wheelchair, you can be a geologist. If you just don't like being outside, you can be a geologist, a scientist in general. So yeah, and then also other training. People who go in Alaska, they have to learn how to shoot guns because they have to watch out for polar bears and stuff. So yeah, pretty wild. All right, so have you ever been hurt while doing your job? So I haven't been badly hurt. I've smashed my finger with a rock hammer. I stepped on a rattlesnake one time. Luckily, it was small enough that I stepped on its body and its head, but as soon as I moved, it was like, so that could have been bad. I've fallen off a small cliff when it gave way. So I've avoided getting seriously hurt, but it definitely some danger comes along with the job. In Sakurajima in Japan, sometimes we have to be careful. We have to make sure during explosions, we have to make sure that there's no big volcanic bombs coming down. So you have to pay attention and look up and make sure that you don't get hit. So it definitely is dangerous, but I've not gotten hurt yet. Knock on rock. Have you touched anything in the volcano? As much fun as that sounds, it would be awesome, I'm sure. But in Hawaiian folklore, there's the goddess Pele, and it would be disrespectful to her if I were to throw it into the volcano in Hawaii. Similar ways that people just sort of they respect these volcanoes, and it's seen as a bit of a sign of disrespect by throwing it in there. In addition, what if there were scientists down there working or something like that? So I'd say, and it could cause like a chain reaction, that kind of thing. So I've avoided tossing anything into the volcano, even though obviously I really, really want to, but I won't. So the question is, what are you doing when you're not in the field? So, I only go into the field about once per year, and the rest of the time I'm in the lab. I'm taking those rocks that I found, crushing them up, and then using these machines that you see here to figure out the chemistry of the pumice pieces and of the minerals inside them. And using that chemistry, I can figure out what made the volcano erupt and why it erupted the way it did. So I just spend a lot of time in the lab. What made me get into geology? When I was 4 years old, we flew over Mount St. Helens, and my parents told me about the 1980 eruption. And I looked down and I saw this volcanic landscape. I was like, whoa, that's cool. I was immediately interested, started collecting rocks, and I even dressed as a geologist when I was like 6 years old. I'll admit, Blue's changed. I think it'll look exactly the same, minus the hard hat and the calculator. I'm not sure why 6-year-old Brad thought that I would need a calculator out in the field, but whatever. um, so, how long did it take for me to get my degrees and what degrees do I have? So I have my PhD. It took a long time. So I actually graduated from high school in 2005, and I still don't have my final career job now 16 years later. I did an undergrad, I got a bachelor's degree in math and geology. Then I went straight to my PhD that took 5 years. And then now I've been doing this postdoc for 3 years. So it's a long haul for sure, but it's going to be all worth it when I get to be a professor. So, question, why do I live in Tennessee when there's no volcanoes? Good point. What am I doing? I'm getting out of here. No, just kidding. So yeah, it kind of sucks that I left Washington and Oregon, where there's a bunch of active volcanoes, and I came to Tennessee, where there's literally not been a volcano for like 1 billion years, anywhere within 500 miles of me. So the reason why is Vanderbilt University has a collaboration with the Japanese government. So I actually work for the Japanese government, figuring out what's going on with active volcanoes, and particularly ones that are near nuclear reactors. So it just so happens that although my research is funded by Japan, I do all my work here at Vanderbilt because that's where all the cool like machines and chemistry equipment is. This is just a picture of Sakurajima volcano, pictures that I took while it was erupting while I was there. All right, so I really appreciate all of your wonderful questions. If you have any more questions, certainly email me. Please, I'm always happy to answer questions. If you're interested in becoming a geologist or kind of just wondering what you need to do in order to get along in this career path, I'd be happy to talk to you. And seriously, I loved all of your questions, so thank you very much. And have a great rest of your school year and enjoy your summer. All right, bye.